Hey guys, and welcome back to the Peteytown Piranhas, a college football 26 team builder dynasty. In this episode, we're going to be going through year 20 of the program as we celebrate 2 decades of Piranhas football. And if that weren't enough, we also have a regular season winning streak going where we haven't lost one in 10 seasons, so we're looking to keep that streak alive. And then, of course, we also are coming off another national championship where we have a 3-peat going, so we're trying to make it a 4-peat this season. And to get us started, we're going to go through the schedule that we're going to be facing, then we'll meet the team, and then of course we'll get into the initial recruiting board, and then we'll get into the season. We're going to open our season by hosting our rivals Miami with their number 2 ranking heading into this year. Then we're going to take on Alabama on the road. Then we're going to come back home for Minnesota, then back on the road for Purdue. Then we'll have a non-conference game against Clemson, then back to Big Ten play against Nebraska and then Wisconsin. Then we'll have a bye week, and then we're going to host Ohio State. Then we're going to take on our other rivals Maryland, then USC, Arizona, and Michigan State to end the year. Another season where the Peteytown Piranhas are ranked number 1 heading into the season with 99s across the board, and we have a 99 overall tackle with Alex John. Eli Newcomb will be returning to us at quarterback, and then at halfback will be Randy McNeil returning for his senior year. Then you're going to have Max Meeks behind him and doing some third down situations and different things for us. Then at fullback will be Matt Hurd again. Then at wide receiver, we have these guys listed as Jamichael Wilkes at number 1, Floyd Grimes number 2, and Willie Ekior at number 3 in the slot, with Scott Graves making appearances, but these 3 at the top are kind of interchangeable with different formations, with the different skill sets that they bring, so expect them to really pop in their different roles. Then for tight end, you're going to have Tobias Hayden returning after a John Mackey Award season where he didn't really play a whole lot, but he still put up enough numbers to get him that award. And then for our offensive line, of course, we're going to have Alex John. And at left guard, we're going to have Kari Gentile. At center will be Broderick Bobo. At right guard will be another center, Tevin Brom, but we're moving him over here. He's just too talented not to play out there. And then at right tackle will be Caleb Tant. On defense, you're going to have left edge Alfonso Wells, and on the other edge will be Greg DeMulling, a guy we're really excited about, and he's finally getting his opportunity to shine. And then at defensive tackle will be Kevin Jones, and behind him will be Doug Boss and Brian Stitzer. Then at linebacker, you're going to see a lot of Max Littlejohn out there, as well as Mike linebacker Paul Whiting. And then at the other outside linebacker spot with 3 linebacker sets will be Lamar Gallimore. And then for cornerback, we're going to have Darren Lampman and Jamie Salcedo on the outside. And then in the slot will be Miles Meadows. And then at free safety, we're going to have Rocky Long. Then at strong safety, you'll see Daryl Morris. And behind him, Sua Tupa with those extra safety looks. And then for kicker, of course, it's going to be Joaquin Orlando. And at punter will be Trent Gold. Through our initial recruiting efforts, we have found 9 gems so far, and we're going to start with speedster wide receiver Sua Tautu. He's got 96 speed and 94 acceleration, so really living up to his archetype. Then wide receiver Frank Kenoy is a route artist. He's got 96 speed, which is really good for that archetype, and he's also got 91 medium route, which really stands out. Then you got edge Ed Henderson, who's a power rusher. He's got good athleticism as well with 84 power moves and 84 tackle, and he's got, it looks like, gold workhorse. Then another edge with John Calloway, who's a speed rusher. He's got 86 speed and 87 acceleration with 88 finesse moves. He's got the bronze pocket disruptor and gold recoup. And then for defensive tackle, Ty Daly, 92 strength, which is really good for a speed rusher archetype. And he's got 88 finesse moves to go along with that, and bronze pocket disruptor. Then for Mike linebacker Dom Moffitt, he's got 85 speed and 90 acceleration and pretty decent coverage skills and hit power. He's also got platinum blow up and bronze hammer. And then for this athlete, he's a tight end, but really stands out with that good speed. It's Stephen Fattencoon. He's got 88 speed and 84 acceleration. And then for cornerback Bobby Goff, he's got 96 speed and 92 acceleration and pretty okay man coverage. We can get that up a little bit more, but I think he's got a good baseline to start with. Then we got will linebacker Bruce Speed, and he does bring speed with 85 and 87 acceleration, and 84 pursuit. And then for some other notable guys who aren't gems, you got Stanley Turner at quarterback. He's got 93 throw power and some pretty good accuracies. And then for right tackle, Reed Cantwell, just very good pass blocking skills, as you can see, and good abilities. Then halfback, you got Bobby Grubb. He's an elusive bruiser, pretty okay speed for that archetype. And everybody else is pretty normal to, you'll see what we can get with them as we develop them if we're able to get them on the team, but very excited with what we have so far. As we enter week 1 of the season, wanted to point out that we found another gem in our scouting with strong safety Denzel Brink, and we got him in first place now after putting those 50 points on him, and he brings 93 speed and 88 acceleration to the table, as well as some good man coverage for a safety, so want to see if we can get him as well. Nothing like a number 1 versus number 2 battle to start a season as we host our rivals Miami with their 99 overall, and of course it's a game of the week.
Out of the gun now on third down. The pocket breaking down.
And it's going to be a little dump off to their back, and he's going to scoot his way into the end zone, and Miami's going to be on the board first to make it 7-0. And a bunch of Piranhas getting in there for this sack, and Doug Boss is going to get in there as well as Brian Stitzer. And that's going to be a fumble, and it is going to be recovered by Miami on a weird play there, and it's going to be disrupted as they take over at our 25-yard line. And right up the middle, Miami, almost said Michigan. Miami is going to get into the end zone there, and it's going to be 14-0 as this terrible start by the Piranhas, as the terrible start continues. And a sack here as they brought a big blitz, and Eli Newcomb was just a sitting duck back there.
Out of the gun now on third down. Taking a shot deep toward the end zone.
And a launch deep, and it's going to be caught for the touchdown by Jamichael Wilkes. What a bomb from Eli Newcomb. Some guys back there for Miami just couldn't keep up with Jamichael, and finally the Piranhas are on the board, and they have some life in this game. It's going to be 14-7. And he's getting chased down, and he's not going to get away from Alfonso Wells, who brings him down for the sack. And another sack here for Miami. They just brought 4 this time, and we just couldn't contain them. And we're going to get a sack here. Nice job by Doug Boss getting back there. To the outside, it's going to be a nice possession catch on the sideline to Tobias Hayden, and a great drive by the Piranhas near the end of the half to tie this one up at 14-14. And we're going to step in front of that. Max Littlejohn making the play. He was just hanging out, and then when he saw that ball, he exploded towards it. And we're going to be set up at their 20-yard line.
Here's the snap. Offense looking to throw the ball.
And it's going to be floated nicely out to Randy McNeil, who's in the end zone with a receiving touchdown. And now the Piranhas have their first lead of the ball game at 21-14. And a sack for Alfonso Wells, his second of the day. And it's going to be a sack for Miami, and they've gotten in 4 times today. And just getting it out of there, it's going to be Tobias Hayden on the touchdown. Eli Newcomb under a lot of pressure again, but he was able to find Tobias amongst all that pressure, and that's going to be 28 straight points for the Piranhas. And immediate pressure and a sack by Miami again, and that's been a real problem for us on offense despite our 28 straight points. And that's going to be intercepted by Miami. A couple of guys on Jamichael Wilkes there, and Eli tried to force it to him. Probably had Willie Echior a little more open underneath that, but Eli decided to go deeper, and it's going to cost us.
Looking to put something together on this drive with a little more urgency. Fires it on the move.
And what an interception by Rocky Long. Their quarterback tried to roll out and make a play towards the sideline, and Rocky just made a great move to get to that ball, and it's going to be back-to-back plays with interceptions. And Jamichael Wilkes is going to get free on the RPO flat play, and we take advantage of the Rocky Long interception to go up 35-14. Right over the middle here, Miami is going to get a late touchdown right at the 2-minute warning before the end of this game, and it's going to make it 35-21. Our Piranhas are able to get the first down necessary, and Miami's at a timeout, so we're just going to kneel on this one and watch the seconds tick off. And we're going to open this season with a 35-21 victory over Miami. Just a terrible start for the Piranhas, as you saw, but we were able to bounce back from that and put up 35 straight points that put this one out of reach, and just nice resiliency from the squad today. We had 412 yards to Miami's 274, and they had 39 yards rushing and a touchdown, while we had 64. Then for passing, they had 235 and we had 348. They were 8 for 15 on third down, while we were 4 for 9. And for turnovers, we both had 2. Eli Newcomb had a couple of plays that didn't really go his way today, but for the most part he was solid with 348 yards, 5 touchdowns, and the pick. And he also had that weird fumble on a weird animation, so not really sure what happened there. But a little bit troubling was that he was sacked 5 times today. Randy McNeil led us with 13 carries and 82 yards on the ground. On the receiving front, Jamichael Wilkes was making a lot of big plays out there with 7 catches, 160 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Tobias Hayden had 6 for 57 and 2 touchdowns. And Randy McNeil 3 for 40 and a touchdown grab. Willie Ekior also added 6 for 40. Happy to see the transfer Paul Whiting out there leading us with 14 tackles as he was all over the field. Then he also had 1 for a loss. And then for sacks, we had 2 from Doug Boss and Alfonso Wells. Then half a sack each for Paul Whiting and Brian Stitzer. Then for interceptions, we got 1 from Max Littlejohn that really helped set up a score. Then 1 for Rocky Long that was just a beautiful play on the sideline. 3 guys have entered their top 5 now, as Frank Kenoy is there just above Florida State, and we're going to have him come on an early visit against Minnesota in our following game after this week. And the same thing goes for Damian Cummings, and he's really close with Clemson right now, and they got that Tier 5 pipeline, so looking for any boost we can. Then for strong safety Denzel Brink, we're above Miami for him, and we're going to wait a couple extra weeks as we're going to take on Clemson in that visit, but that's a little farther down the line. Also early on in this season, Randy McNeil is at the top of the Heisman Trophy list. He was probably there at the beginning of the season, but I just forgot to check it, but our guy Randy is representing right now. Now we travel to Alabama to take on the Crimson Tide with their 89 overall, and they actually lost their first game, so they dropped in the rankings to number 24, but still a hostile environment that we're walking into. And to the outside, it's going to be Tobias Hayden making that catch in the end zone, and we're going to go up 7-0. And here's a sack by Kevin Jones. Nicely done by Kevin there. This time Alabama's going to keep us out of the end zone, but we're going to settle for a field goal with Joaquin Orlando and a little slow-mo action here on the kick. And that is going to be good as we go up 10-0. And a nice little float there, and it's going to be Floyd Grimes in the end zone. Nice job by Eli, just letting it develop, and the O-line holding up, and that allowed Floyd to get free and into the end zone for a 17-0 lead. And he's going to run right into a sack for Kevin Jones, and just, the quarterback trying to make a play, but can't really make plays out there when Kevin Jones is bearing down on you. And Tobias Hayden is in again here as we execute a very late end-of-half drive, and it's going to result in a 24-0 lead. And Randy McNeil made that nice cut, and he is out of there for the touchdown. Just nobody within like 15 yards of him at the end of that run. Well executed on the blocks on an RPO play, and Randy with the great vision to get out of there to make it 31-0. And off a slot corner sack, it's going to be a forced fumble, but Alabama picks it up, and he's fighting and fighting, but we eventually get him down for a big loss. Looks like Daryl Morris came in and got that sack. And he's just floating it up there deep, and it's going to be intercepted by Rocky Long, and Rocky gets it past the 50-yard line, and we're going to be set up nicely. That's another pick on this young season for Rocky. And Jermichael Wilkes is going to get free on the RPO flat play, and that's going to be another touchdown for the Piranhas as we extend it to 38-0. Another field goal attempt here for Joaquin Orlando from about 43 yards out, and Joaquin is going to put that one through, and we put up 41 points on Alabama.
Looking to throw on first down.
And that is an insane play by Greg DeMulling. Oh my God, that was a screen pass they were trying to get out, and he threw it, and it hit Greg DeMulling on, looks like the shoulder, and it deflected right into his hands. What a crazy play. It'll be another score for Jermichael Wilkes right after that interception. We got set up very nicely, of course, and it just took one play to get Jermichael in the end zone again as we go up 48-0. So the Peteytown Piranhas come into Tuscaloosa and get a nice 55-3 victory over Alabama, just really clicking on all cylinders today. Eli, not a lot of passing yards as you can see, but just efficient with what he was doing out there, and the defense really just taking over at certain points, and just really happy with our effort in this tough road environment. We outgained Alabama 476-191, and we had 253 yards rushing and a touchdown, while they had 32. And for passing, we had 223, and they had 159. On third down, we were 7 for 10, and they were 1 for 10. And for turnovers, we didn't have any, and we forced 3. Eli Newcomb was spreading the ball around for 218 yards, 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and he was not sacked, and he only had 1 incompletion on the day. Randy McNeil had 10 carries for 92 yards and a touchdown, while Max Meeks had 6 for 72, and then our backup Kenya Kiki 5 for 45. Tobias Hayden had 10 catches for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Jermichael Wilkes had 7 for 57 and 2 touchdowns, and Floyd Grimes 4 for 37 and a touchdown, as well as a short 5-yard touchdown for Tyler Robbins with the backups. Paul Whiting led us with 10 tackles and 2 for a loss, and then for sacks, we had 2 for Kevin Jones and 1 each for Daryl Morris and Rico Crozier. Then for interceptions, we had Derek Sims with the backups, and Greg DeMulling on that crazy play, and Rocky Long with a nice one downfield. Then for forced fumbles, we had 2. Got 1 from Daryl Morris and 1 from Paul Whiting, but we did not recover them. Joaquin Orlando had a nice 2 for 2 day with a long of 56. That double soft sell got Frank Kenoy a nice boost over Florida State. We also have him coming on a visit this week, and joining him will be Damian Cummings, who used his hard sell to get a nice boost over Clemson. And then we got Denzel Brink, who's got a nice little boost over Miami now. Then we got some new guys in their top 5 with Stanley Turner. And we also got Bobby Grubb and LaShawn Faucha and Bruce Speed, all these guys in first place. And Bruce only has a double soft sell going right now. The rest of these guys have their hard sell. And then we're not really selling on Markel Komar because there's really no point to with the punters. But he also I almost made a mistake. I needed to get a kicker, but I recruited punters instead. But we could probably just flip him over to kicker if we want to. And I don't want to get rid of that gem, so that's probably the plan with him if we can get him. Randy McNeil dropped out of the Heisman Trophy race, but we do have Jermichael Wilkes on the list now. Minnesota's going to come to town to open up our Big Ten Conference play, and they have a 74 overall, and they've also won their first 2 games of the year. And Randy McNeil is out of there with 1 cut, and he is going to be gone all the way to the end zone. Randy McNeil with an explosive play there, and nice blocking by the O-line to spring him, and we're going to take the early 7-0 lead. And it is going to be a sack here for Minnesota and a safety for the Piranhas as Doug Boss gets back there. Couldn't see who it was. I think it was Alfonso Wells with him. But nice job by the defense, and it's going to be 9-0 Piranhas. And it's a deep one, and it's going to be caught for the touchdown by Willie Ekior. He had a deep route there, and Eli Newcomb found that spot that he was open in, and we're going to go up 16-0. And Tobias Hayden is getting around the blocks here. That's set up perfectly, and Tobias Hayden has the long touchdown. Just a lot of explosive plays so far in this one for the Piranhas, and we're going to go up 23-0. And a sack incoming here. Alfonso Wells in on another one, along with Greg DeMulling. And that just opened up like the Red Sea for Randy McNeil until the end at the goal line, where a few guys try to keep him out, but Randy was able to fight through and get into the end zone again for his second of the day, and it's going to be 30-0 Piranhas. And a sack here. It's going to be Kevin Jones bringing him down for our third of the ball game. And that's going to be undercut and intercepted. We try to hit Jamichael Wilkes on a slant there, but Minnesota's guy has lurked us.
On third down, he'll try to pick it up through the air.
And we knock it out, and it's going to fall into the hands of Rocky Long, who has another interception, I believe his third on the year. Great coverage out there by Darren Lampman to force the ball out, and Rocky being in the right place at the right time. And wide open is going to be Tobias Hayden on that trail route that we love over the middle of the field, and Tobias is going to make it 37-0. And a sack here. It's going to be Greg DeMulling along with Doug Boss getting in there. And he's going to be brought down by Alfonso Wells for our fifth sack of the game. And Doug Boss in on another sack here and an 8-yard loss. And it's going to be a quick one out to Carter Burns, and Carter's in the end zone still fighting, and he is going to have that touchdown to make it 44-0. The Peteytown Piranhas get this 44-3 victory over Minnesota. Just great job on all sides of the ball here. Randy McNeil putting up some big numbers, as you can see, and just happy how we're starting this year. Just over the 500-yard mark for the Piranhas as we got 505, and we kept Minnesota just under 200 as they got 196. And then for rushing, they had 42, and we had 202 touchdowns. And for passing, they had 154, and we had 305. For a third down, they were 4 for 14, and we were 2 for 6. On the turnovers, we both had 1. Eli Newcomb wishes he had that interception back, but he was solid the rest of the day with 303 yards, 4 touchdowns, the pick, and no sacks. Randy McNeil with a very nice day today as he had 10 carries, 169 yards, and 2 touchdowns. On the receiving side, Tobias Hayden with a big day with 8 catches, 132 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and Jamichael Wilkes had 4 for 61, and Willie Ekior 4 for 43 and a touchdown, and Carter Burns with a 10-yard touchdown catch. Rocky Long was our tackle leader today with 7, and then for our sacks, we had 2 from Doug Boss and Alfonso Wells. Then you got 1 each for Greg DeMulling and Rico Crozier, as well as Kevin Jones. And for interceptions, we got that 1 with Rocky Long in the end zone. And that visit helped us sign 5-star wide receiver Frank Kenoy. And joining Frank will be 4-star guard Damian Cummings. Denzel Brink is on the brink of committing to us right now, but Miami's trying to have something to say about it. But we do have him on a visit in the following game in Week 5, so I think we're pretty well covered with him. And you got these guys who are looking pretty good. And then we also got Sua Tautu, who's just into his top 5 now. And we got him on his hard sell, and we're also putting him on a Week 5 visit. And just a lot of visits that are boosting each other up for that Week 5, so we love to see that. And we also got Ed Henderson here and Ty Daly. And then for Stephen Fattencoon, I have his hard sell as well, but I did use up all the Week 5 visits, so we'll see if we need a visit down the road. But for him, he's got his hard sell. NFL, as well as Bobby Goff. And then we did sell Markel Komar, since we know all his things now, and they're very favorable things, so just feel pretty good about getting him there. For the Heisman Trophy race, Randy McNeil is back on the list, but Jamichael Wilkes has dropped out, so a little bit of back and forth there with them. It's going to be a road game now in Big Ten Conference play as we travel to Purdue to take on the Boilermakers with their 71 overall and 2-1 record. And Eli Newcomb got the lane he needed and then ran to the outside where there was nobody to guard him. And Eli Newcomb is going to put us up 7-0. And it's going to be a sack here. They go with that fake jet play, and it's going to result in a sack for Paul Whiting. And Randy McNeil is going to get some blocking, and then he was met by a couple of guys, and he fought through them, but Randy McNeil is going to get credited with a touchdown on that carry. Looked like he might have had a little room, but then two guys showed up, but Randy McNeil showed him who's boss. And that's going to be intercepted in the flat, and he's going to run down the sideline for a pick six here. Just trying to find our guy as another option on Jamichael Wilkes on the outside, but Purdue was all over it. And Floyd Grimes has broken free here on a leaping grab, and then nobody was able to cover him, and Floyd just maneuvered his way out of there to get a touchdown, and it's going to be 21-7 Piranhas. And a sack for Kevin Jones. It's going to be a fumble that's recovered by Purdue, but nice job by Kevin on that pressure. Jamichael Wilkes is going to get open there, and it's going to be a touchdown for the Peteytown Piranhas. Almost looked like our guy Eli was going to overthrow him, so I hesitated a little bit, but really no need for that as we go up 28-7. And Jamichael Wilkes is going to be in again on that RPO play, this time to the other side of the field, and the Piranhas put together a very good end-of-half drive to go up 35-7. And Kevin Jones just charged his way through for a sack there, and it's going to force a fumble, but we don't recover it. Purdue lining up for a 48-yard field goal attempt here, and their guy is going to put it up. And it is going to be off the upright and no good. Another interception here for Purdue as we try to hit a slant to Floyd Grimes, but their man stepped right in front of it and read it perfectly. And just a little dump off here to their man, and he's going to sneak his way into the end zone to make it 35-14. And Eli Newcomb is out of there on the power read play. What a nice job by him on the read and showing off that athleticism as he got into the open field to put us up 42-14.
From the gun, wants to pass. He puts a lot of air under it down the sideline.
And way downfield, it's going to be an interception from Darren Lampman, just trying to put something up there, but Darren denied him. And nobody is going to be there for Randy McNeil. He makes a nice little move, and we get some downfield blocking to spring him free for another touchdown, and it's going to be 49-14. And that's going to be an interception off a trick play. Jamie Salcedo getting that one. Just got to add that one to the highlight reel because it's just a hilarious turn of events there. The Peteytown Piranhas get the 49-14 victory over Purdue on a nice road win here. Just a lot of things to be happy about. A couple of picks from Eli Newcomb that you don't love to see, but love that the team rallied around and just really took over this game. On offense, we had 547 yards to Purdue's 229. Then on the ground, we had a very impressive 274 and 4 scores, and they had 8. And then for passing, we had 273 and they had 221. For a third down, we were 6 for 7 and they were 3 for 11. And on the turnovers, we both had 2. Couple of mistakes today for Eli Newcomb with those 2 picks, including that one for a pick 6, so hopefully we can help him clean that up. But he ended up with 273 yards, 3 touchdowns, the picks, and no sacks. Impressive day for Randy McNeil as he had 19 carries, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Eli Newcomb was very good on the ground with 8 carries, 91 yards, and 2 scores. Floyd Grimes made the most of his opportunities today with 4 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown. And you had Randy McNeil adding 4 for 59, and Willie Ekiyor 5 for 43, and Jamichael Wilkes 4 for 38 and 2 touchdowns. Paul Whiting was all over the field today as he had 13 tackles and 5 for a loss and then a sack. And then we got 2 sacks from Kevin Jones as well to make it 3 on the game. Then for interceptions, we had 1 from Jamie Salcedo on that crazy trick play and 1 by Darren Lampman. And then we go over to our forced fumbles. We got 2 from Kevin Jones, but they were not recovered. A commitment here for strong safety Denzel Brink. For this Week 5 visit against Clemson, we got 8 guys on visits, and we got these guys in their top 3 with Bruce Speed, LaShawn Fuchsia, and Bobby Grubb, so very important that we get this one to go our way. I thought Randy McNeil had himself a very fine day, but it wasn't enough to keep him in the Heisman Trophy race apparently. Big matchup here as the recruits coming in. We'll see a game of the week between us and number 10 Clemson for a top 10 matchup, and they have a 95 overall and a 2-1 record this season. And coming across the middle is Jamichael Wilkes, and he gets enough separation to get that touchdown and a nice strike from Eli Newcomb, and it's going to be 7-0 Piranhas. And here's going to be a sack for Clemson on that first down play-action play. And their running back is going to finally get it into the end zone. They had a few cracks at it that close to the end zone, and their running back gets it in, and they're going to tie it up 7-7. And here's a sack as they got by our guy and made the play. And wide open in the end zone, we're going to get our man Max Meeks. I don't know where the coverage was there, but they lost Max. And we're going to take the 14-7 lead with just under 30 seconds left in the first half. And trying to throw one deep, and it's going to be picked off by our guy. It looks like Daryl out there. Daryl Sims comes away with that one, and we're going to be set up right outside of their red zone. Daryl Morris, excuse me, I said Sims, Daryl Morris on the interception. With no timeouts remaining and 10 seconds left, Petey Previtt decides to just take the points with Joaquin Orlando, and he obliges with a field goal make to make it 17-7. And we're going to step in front of that one with Jamie Salcedo off the play action. They've been hurting us a little bit on different play action plays, but this time we're able to step in front of it thanks to Jamie. And it's going to be a slant off the RPO and a lot of traffic there, but Floyd Grimes is able to come down with it to give us a 24-7 lead. Clemson gets it all the way to the 1, but can't quite punch it in, and they're going to go with the field goal to make it a 2-score game, and they do just that to make it 24-10. And the slant is going to be caught as he was covered very tightly, but Jamichael Wilkes is going to make that physical play to get in the end zone, and it's going to be 31-10 Piranhas. And just trying to throw one up there, and it's going to be picked off by Darren Lampman, and he's returning it down the sideline all the way to their 40-yard line. And Tobias Hayden is going to take that flat play and get into the end zone after that interception by the defense, and we extend the lead to 38-10. Another interception from the defense, and this one's going to be Miles Meadows who breaks it to the outside, and Miles is in the end zone for the Piranhas with a defensive score here to make it 45-10. The Peteytown Piranhas finish off this important matchup against Clemson 45-10 with a very dominant second half, especially that fourth quarter, and just very pleased with how the team finished this one. And they gave us a good shot in that first half, but that and a half interception that we got that we turned into a field goal was a really big moment for us, and we were able to capitalize on it, and just happy with getting this win. We were pretty close in yards today, as we had 358 and they had 334. Then on the ground we only had 53 and they had 20 with a touchdown. Then for passing they had 314 and we had 305. Then on third down they were 7 for 11 and we were 6 for 8. But the real difference maker in the game was we didn't have any turnovers and we forced 4 on Clemson. Eli Newcomb really doing well out there today, as he had 305 yards, 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and he was sacked twice. Randy McNeil a bit quiet today on the ground with 10 carries and 47 yards. Tobias Hayden leading us in receiving with 12 catches, 142 yards, and a touchdown. Then Floyd Grimes got 6 for 61 and a touchdown. Max Meeks 4 for 47 and a touchdown. And Randy McNeil chipping in 3 for 37. And Jamichael Wilkes, not a lot of yards, but he did get 3 catches, 15 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Max Littlejohn led us today with 10 tackles, and then we didn't get any sacks, but on the interception front, we got 4. We got 1 from Daryl Morris. Then Miles Meadows returned his 40 yards for a touchdown. Jamie Salcedo got 1, and Darren Lampman got 1. Joaquin Orlando hit his only field goal attempt today for 34 yards. We got commitments coming in now with 4-star halfback Bobby Grubb. And following Bobby, we got LaShawn Fuchsia, a safety. And following him, we got Bruce Speed, the linebacker. And then we got another one with Stanley Turner at quarterback, so that's a nice get for us. And then we got another commitment here with wide receiver Sua Tautu. And yet another guy with Ty Daly, a defensive tackle. And just keep on coming in with Markel Komar, the punter. For that pick 6, Miles Meadows was recognized as the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. The visit wasn't quite enough for Ed Henderson to want to commit to us yet, but we should get him before he gets that Week 7 visit with Florida. And we also got Bobby Goff on that Week 7 visit after this week, as well as Dom Moffitt. And then we also got Reed Cantwell, and we used that double soft sell to get his hard sell. Then we got Stephen Fattencoon, the tight end, and Nebraska is really trying here, but hopefully we're able to outlast them. And then John Callaway entered his top 5, and we got his hard sell, and he's also going to be on a Week 7 visit with these guys. Number 24, Nebraska, awaits us at their place now with their 99 team overall, and they have a 3-2 record on the year. And in the end zone, it's going to be Tobias Hayden. He came in on a little motion, and then we were able to find him out of that as he got himself free. And it's going to be 7-0 Piranhas. And it's going to be the slant to Floyd Grimes, who got himself open, and it's going to be 14-0 Piranhas. And there's going to be a fumble on the play, and Nebraska is going to recover it, and they are going to bring this one all the way back for a fumble 6. I'm going to challenge it just to see, but I think that might have come out. Looking at the replay here, it's kind of tough to tell. This angle is probably not going to show very much, but his leg is down and the ball comes out. We might actually get this one back, and we do get it back, so that's nice to see. And immediate pressure, and we're going to be sacked, and it's going to be another fumble, but we recover it with our lineman. And we're going to get a sack here. Miles Meadows comes in from the corner position to get that one. And off that RPO play, it's going to be a nice touchdown for Nebraska. Just a lot of misdirection there to get us on our heels. And it's going to be 14-7. And it's going to be the bubble out to Willie Ekior, and Willie is going to get into the end zone for the Piranhas to make it 21-7. And he's going to find his man in the back of the end zone. He got inside of our zone coverage there, and Nebraska is going to make it a one-score game at 21-14. And Eli Newcomb has taken off on a scramble and nobody was there. It might have been they were in man coverage and went to the other side of the field and left a clear lane for Eli to get in to make it 28-14 Piranhas. And another touchdown in the back of the end zone for Nebraska as they had a really impressive drive to get that one. And they're going to make it a one-score game once again at 28-21 with just over 3 minutes left in the game. And Randy McNeil has made a cut, and he's going to break that tackle, and Randy McNeil is breaking free on the touchdown carry. What a run by Randy, and that one probably should put it away as we're at 2:21 left in the game, and we got a 2-score lead at 35-21. What an electric run by Randy. And here on first down for their drive, it's going to be a sack by Doug Boss. 4th down and 6 for Nebraska now, needed here to keep this one alive. And they're going to send their man in motion. He's going to drop and looking, surveying, not a lot of pressure. He throws it deep to the outside and it is knocked away nicely. Suatupa on the coverage. Powering forward with Randy McNeil, and he got great blocks there by the O-line and Matt Hurt at fullback. And that is going to be a 42-21 lead for the Peteytown Piranhas with just over a minute and a half left as we have really separated near the end here after that touchdown that Nebraska scored. Our defense was able to get the stop on Nebraska, and since they only have one timeout remaining, we're going to be able to kneel this one with Eli Newcomb, and we're going to survive this one 42-21. That final score wasn't really indicative of how close that Nebraska kept it during this game, and we were really able to separate and keep our wits about us at the end there, and I'm very happy with our team and how they composed themselves today. We outgained Nebraska by exactly 1 yard as we had 353 and they had 352. On the ground, we had a very impressive 240 and 3 touchdowns while they had 110. And through the air, we only had 113 yards. That's got to be like the lowest we've had in quite a while. And Nebraska had 242. And we were 7 of 10 on 3rd down while they were 7 for 14. And for turnovers, nobody had any. Eli Newcomb, not a lot of yards today at only 113, but he was finishing off drives with 3 touchdown passes, and most importantly, he didn't turn the ball over, and he was sacked once. On the ground, Randy McNeil had a big day with 20 carries, 179 yards, and 2 touchdowns, while Eli Newcomb had 15 for 62 and a touchdown. With the passing yards total pretty down, not a lot of big games for receivers today, but Floyd Grimes led us with 6 catches for 31 yards and a touchdown. And he also had Tobias Hayden getting 2 for 21 and a touchdown, and Willie Ekior 2 for 20 and a touchdown. Paul Whiting led us in tackles today with 13, and he had 3 for a loss, and then Daryl Morris had 10. Then for sacks, we got 1 apiece from Miles Meadows and Doug Boss. On the recruiting front, Ed Henderson has decided to join us, so very nice get there. We're going to have 5 visitors for our upcoming game against Wisconsin, as Bobby Goff is one of those, and he's right there on the commitment front, so we just got to get this win to get him. And then for Stephen Fattencoon, got Nebraska still trailing for us, but I think we'll be able to get him if we can get the win. Then we got Dom Moffitt and Reed Cantwell and John Calloway all in their top 5, with some pretty decent space between them and the next teams. We've gone from having no guys on the Heisman Trophy list for the last couple of weeks to having 2, as Randy McNeil has gotten back on there, as well as Eli Newcomb. Next up will be the 3-2 Wisconsin Badgers with their 85 team overall.
He is the guy. He is priority number 1.
And Eli Newcomb is going to go down immediately as that guy got instant pressure. Joaquin Orlando is going to come out for a 50-yard field goal attempt here, and he's going to put it up. And it is through the uprights and good for the Peteytown Piranhas to take a 3-0 lead. And a play action is not going to work out as Alfonso Wells gets back there for the sack. Field goal attempt here for Wisconsin from the hash mark, and their guy is going to put this one up. And it is no good. He missed it wide to the right as that tricky hash mark strikes again. And Randy McNeil is out of there on that dive play, and he's taking it down the numbers, and Randy McNeil is gone. A big run here, and it's going to be 10-0 Piranhas. And a sack incoming here as Kevin Jones gets in there along with our guy Brian Stitzer. And their wide receiver has broken some tackles, and he is going to be gone. What a play by him. Had a couple of guys there, just couldn't bring him down. And Wisconsin's going to close the gap to make it 10-7. This will be a 53-yard field goal attempt for Wisconsin, and their guy is going to put it up. And it is good, and they're going to make it 10-10. And in the end zone, Wisconsin is going to have the touchdown here. Looked like a comeback route that they pulled off spectacularly, and it's going to be 17-10. There was a flag on the final play, so we're going to send Joaquin Orlando out here to try a very long field goal, see if he can put it in, and it is good for the Peteytown Piranhas and Joaquin Orlando. I was preparing just in case I had to come in for the second half, but with that field goal make, it's going to be 17-13, and I won't have to do that just yet. And we're going to get the interception. Darren Lampman just jumped that route. It was a curl route out there. Darren saw it, and he baited that quarterback into it and used his speed and acceleration to get to that one. And we're going to be set up in their red zone. Eli Newcomb tosses it short, and it's going to be our guy Jamichael Wilkes coming across the formation to make that catch and scoot into the end zone, and it's going to be 20-17 Piranhas. So from going to the end of the half, feeling like I was going to have to come in and help our squad, a sequence of events happens, and we're able to get the lead and avoid me having to come in. Eli Newcomb taking us up the middle, and it's going to open up a hole there from the offensive line, and he is in for the touchdown, and it's going to be 27-17 Piranhas. And there's a fumble on the play, and it's going to be recovered by the Piranhas. What a lucky break there for us. Max Littlejohn is the one who comes away with it. Their quarterback just trying to make a play, but we're able to jar that one loose as they were in threatening position, and we're going to turn them over. It's going to be Jamie Salcedo credited with that forced fumble, so nice job by Jamie.
Not open up lanes to run through. Nice job just nullifying that run.
And Tobias Hayden breaking free, and nobody is there to cover Tobias, and he is gone. And the Peteytown Piranhas have put up 24 straight points to make this one 34-17. And Jamichael Wilkes is going to break the tackle downfield, and it is going to be a touchdown for the Piranhas. What a physical play by him out there off that RPO where we got some speed outs attached to it. Jamichael's going to take it and use that physicality to get into the end zone to make it 41-17. And we're going to step in front of that one with Max Littlejohn, and he's got a lane to the end zone, and he's going to take it back to the house, and it's going to be 48-17 Piranhas. What a second half for the Peteytown Piranhas, putting this one away, and that is just a sensational job by Max Littlejohn in coverage. So Wisconsin gave us a real battle in that first half, and just we were able to get this 51-24 victory against them, but just an incredible second half from the Piranhas that allowed us to get this win, and we're going to keep on moving on, but that was definitely a scare from Wisconsin. Wisconsin outgained us by nearly 100 yards as they had 472 to our 376, and on the ground they had 137 and a touchdown while we had 166 and 2 touchdowns. For the passing yards, they had 335 and we had 210. For third down, they were 4 for 11 and we were 1 for 6. And for turnovers, this was the separator here. We had none and they had 3. Eli Newcomb with 210 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was sacked once. Randy McNeil making the most of his opportunities with 10 carries, 111 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Eli Newcomb had 6 for 40 and a touchdown. Jamichael Wilkes with a big day today on 6 catches, 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns, while Tobias Hayden had 4 for 59 and a touchdown. Max Littlejohn had 14 tackles today to lead us, and he also had 1 for a loss. And then Paul Whiting had 10 tackles and 3 for a loss. For sacks, we had 1 from Alfonso Wells and half a sack for Kevin Jones and Brian Stitzer. Then for interceptions, there was 1 from Max Littlejohn. And we got that big one from Darren Lampman at the beginning of the second half. That really allowed us to go on the run we went on. And speaking of things that went well during that run, we had a forced fumble from Jamie Salcedo that was recovered by Max Littlejohn. That really helped us keep that run going because they were threatening to score. Joaquin Orlando was perfect today with 3 of 3 on field goals, and he hit that huge 63-yarder that allowed us to go into halftime with less than a touchdown deficit, and it allowed me to not have to come in, and we really took over from there. With the help of that visit, we got cornerback Bobby Goff to commit to the Peteytown Piranhas. And then joining Bobby is going to be Stephen Fattencoon at tight end. And that'll be it for the commitments this week. Max Littlejohn was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week with all those tackles that he had. And he also had that interception and fumble recovery that's not shown here. And Max was also the National Defensive Player of the Week. The visit wasn't quite enough for Dom Moffitt to want to commit, but we should be getting him. Then we got Reed Cantwell in the similar situation. Then John Calloway a little bit farther away from a commitment, and Baylor's got a Week 9 visit, so we're going to see what happens with that. We got a bye week this week, and we'll see where that stands going into that Week 9 visit. On the commitment front, we got Dom Moffitt as he was just inches away from committing, and now he's officially with us. Joining Dom will be right tackle Reed Cantwell. John Calloway still didn't commit to us, so now we got to worry about that Week 9 visit with Baylor, and hopefully it doesn't go too well for them. And then in other news, we got this center Olani Cutting that I added a couple weeks ago, and looking at what he brings to the table, he's got that 82 pass block finesse and 84 run block finesse and the bronze quick step, so we'll see what happens here, but he was way down on the list when he was in the top 8, but now we got him in first place in a Week 11 visit against USC when we get there. Looking at the Heisman Trophy race after the bye week, Randy McNeil is still hanging on, so that's nice to see. But you also got 3 guys from USC at the top of the list, so that's something to behold. The Piranhas are back in action now as they host number 10 Ohio State with their 92 overall and 6-2 record.
Wants to throw on first down. Throws to the back.
And Randy McNeil is getting away from them here on a receiving touchdown. Randy McNeil showing off his dual threat ability there. And it's going to be 7-0 Piranhas. And Ohio State's guy is going to get the ball just over the line here for the touchdown on their own RPO flat play.
Second down, they'll go to the air.
And Randy McNeil is going to get another receiving touchdown here off that orbit motion play. Can't even speak right now, but we're going to get another touchdown here to make it 14-7. And here's some pressure by the D-line as we're going to get Doug Boss and Kevin Jones in on that.
Dropping back, it's West.
And back-to-back sacks here for the Piranhas as Kevin Jones is in on another one with other friends. And that's going to be an interception by Ohio State. Try to hit that post route off the RPO, but he was just standing right there. Just kind of a ill-advised pass from our guy Eli.
Wants to go up top on first down.
And back-to-back plays with interceptions now as Paul Whiting is going to take that one right back for our defense. And that's going to be the post off the RPO, and it's going to be our guy Jamichael Wilkes in the end zone. I think we had an interception on a similar play like that earlier, but we reversed it to the other side, and this time Eli made sure it was on the money to our receiver.
To the air on first down.
And he's going to get chased down here. Brian Stitzer gets the sack on a drive that has been pretty good for Ohio State, but that's going to set him back a little bit. We got that nice sack from Brian Stitzer, but Ohio State's still going to be in field goal range, and they are going to put this one up and put it through to make it 21-10 right before the end of the first half. And a nice strike to Floyd Grimes from Eli Newcomb. Their guy was trying to be in coverage there, but just couldn't keep a handle on Floyd. And we're going to go up 28-10. And in some traffic, Ohio State's going to have a touchdown to their man here to make it 28-17. And Randy McNeil is going to go to the weak side of that I formation, and it's going to work out for us on his third touchdown of the day, and it's going to be 35-17 Piranhas. And Kevin Jones is going to run him down here for the sack, our fourth on the game. And he's going to get brought down for a sack here. Alfonso Wells and Greg DeMulling on that one. And he's going to throw it to that underneath zone where Miles Meadows was. And now Miles is trying to get a pick six out of it. And he will as he's running down the numbers to the 10, to the goal line. A pick six for Miles Meadows. Nice job there by him. And we're going to make it 42-17. And another pick here. It's going to be Max Littlejohn this time, throwing it into where a bunch of guys were, and Max Littlejohn comes away with it. And Randy McNeil out of the flex bone gets into the end zone easily here to make it 49-17 Piranhas. And their man just launching it downfield for the heck of it, and we're going to pick it off there. That's going to be Sua Tupa on that one. The Piranhas will walk out of this game with a nice 49-17 victory over the Ohio State Buckeyes, just showing that we're the better team here. Randy McNeil with a huge day, of course, with those 4 TDs, and just really happy with our performance in this one. We were able to get 457 yards, while Ohio State got 334. And then for the ground game, they had 20 yards, and we had 191 and 2 touchdowns. Then through the air, they had 314, and we had 266. Then for third down, they were 5 for 11. We were 4 for 6. Then on turnovers, we only had 1, and Ohio State had 4. Eli Newcomb, one decision that he wished he had back, but the rest of the day he was pretty good, as he had 266 yards, 4 touchdowns, the pick, and 1 sack. Really big day for Randy McNeil with 17 carries, 95 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Eli Newcomb had 9 carries for 86 yards. Randy was also our leading receiver with 4 catches, 83 yards, and as mentioned, he had the 4 touchdowns. Then Jamichael Wilkes had 3 for 76 and a touchdown, and Floyd Grimes 3 for 37 and a touchdown. A bunch of guys with at least 10 tackles today, as Daryl Morris led us with 11 along with Max Littlejohn. Then we got 10 each from Paul Whiting and Jamie Salcedo. Then for sacks, we had 2 from Kevin Jones, 1 from Greg DeMulling and Brian Stitzer, and half a sack each for Alfonso Wells and Doug Boss. Then for interceptions, you got 1 for Max Littlejohn, 1 for Paul Whiting, a 91-yard pick 6 by Miles Meadows, and a nice pick at the end of the game by Sua Tupa. John Callaway has made his decision, and he's decided to go with the Peteytown Piranhas. Among the candidates for Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, it was given to Paul Whiting. Unfortunately, during our last game, we got some injury news with Scott Graves. He will be out for the rest of the year with a torn pectoral. That 4-touchdown effort from Randy McNeil has put him in 4th place for the Heisman Trophy, but he has not broken through this stalemate with the USC players. It's time for a rivalry game against Maryland with their 79 overall and 4-5 record. On our first drive, it's going to be a 57-yard field goal attempt for Joaquin Orlando, and Joaquin is going to send this one up, and it is through the uprights to make it 3-0. And he was going to try to hit his guy on the corner route, but he just threw it too early and his guy couldn't get there. And that's going to be intercepted by Daryl Morris and returned all the way to the 3-yard line. And out to Tobias Hayden, and Tobias is in the end zone for the Piranhas 1 play after that interception, and it's going to be 10-0. And Tobias Hayden is going to get this one off a play action, and Tobias is gone as they got lost in the sauce there. And it's going to be 17-0 for the Piranhas. And a sack incoming here as Kevin Jones is going to get back there. And a nice floated pass out there for Max Meeks, and Max is in the end zone for the Peteytown Piranhas to make it 24-0. Eli Newcomb is going to go up the middle there, and he is going to be in the end zone with a rushing score, and it's going to be 31-0. Here's a 50-yard field goal attempt for Joaquin Orlando, and he's going to put it up, and it is through the uprights to make it 34-0. We're able to get it in position for a 34-yard field goal for Joaquin Orlando, and Joaquin puts it up, and it's not going to matter with the result as they roughed him, but with just a second on the clock, maybe we'll just take the result of that field goal. And we will take the result as it's going to be 37-0 Piranhas.
Gonna swing it on second down.
And that is an ill-advised pass from Eli Newcomb, and their guy is trying to run away from us, and he is going down the sideline, and it is going to be a pick six for Maryland. Just Eli throwing that one way too late, trying to check it down, and their guy was standing in front of us, and it's going to be 37-7. And it's the pop pass to Tobias Hayden, and his monster day continues as he's in the end zone again, and it's going to be 44-7. And here's a sack from Greg DeMulling and friends, and we're going to get him off the field there. Another field goal attempt here for Joaquin Orlando, and he's going to send this one up, and it is going to hit that All-State sign right in the middle to make it 47-7. Greg DeMulling on the sack here, a 5-yard loss and our third of the day. It's a blowout victory here against our rivals as we get the 54-7 victory in the Peteytown, Maryland War. Just a very good effort here by the boys, and had that pick six from Eli unfortunately, but really that was our only mistake of the game. We had 593 yards today, and our defense was absolutely dominant as they held Maryland to just 57 total yards. And for our running game, we had 127 yards and a score, and they had -13. And for passing, we had 466, and they had 70. For third down, we were 6 for 10, they were 2 for 13. And for turnovers, we both had 1. Eli Newcomb finished the day with 387 yards, 4 touchdowns, and that unfortunate pick six, and he was not sacked. And then our guy Alex Keener had 79 yards and a touchdown with no picks. Randy McNeil had 13 carries and 61 yards today, while Eli Newcomb had 2 for 21 and a touchdown. A fabulous day for Tobias Hayden as he had 12 catches for 214 yards and 3 touchdowns. Randy McNeil had 3 for 51, Jermichael Wilkes 4 for 51, and then we scroll on down for Max Meeks. He had 3 for 27 and a touchdown, and then we had our guy Cornell Cleveland get 2 for 17 and a touchdown. Daryl Morris led us today with 6 tackles, and he got 1 for a loss. And then for sacks, we had 1.5 from Kevin Jones and Greg DeMulling, then 1 for Christian Wilkes, and half a sack for Alfonso Wells. And for interceptions, we got 1 with Daryl Morris. Joaquin Orlando, perfect again with 4 of 4 on field goals with a long of 57. Tobias Hayden was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. And Tobias was also National Offensive Player of the Week. We're going to be welcoming center Alani Cutting this week on a visit as we take on USC, and Alabama's trying their best, but I don't think they're going to catch up to us. The Heisman Trophy race got shook up a little bit as USC lost their last game, so 2 of their guys are no longer on the list, but their quarterback Dante Rashid is still at the top, but we got Randy McNeil in second place and Eli Newcomb in third. The USC Trojans are coming off a loss in their last game, so they're going to be hungry to get back into the win column, and they got a dangerous team to do it as they're 99 overall, and they're 8-1 on the season with that number 5 ranking. On our first offensive possession, it's going to be a 57-yard field goal attempt for Joaquin Orlando, and he is going to sink it, and it's going to be 3-0 Piranhas. And he's just going to scramble right into a sack for Alfonso Wells. Alfonso just said, "Thank you very much for running right into my arms." And that is a strike from Eli Newcomb to our man Floyd Grimes. He had a couple of guys there on him, but Floyd was just able to get enough separation from him to make that grab and sprint into the end zone to make it 10-0 Piranhas. And he's going to run into another sack by Alfonso, and this one's going to be a fumble, and it is going to be picked up by our guy Kevin Jones, and Kevin is going to bring that all the way back for a fumble 6, and the Peteytown Piranhas will go up 17-0. And here's another sack for the Piranhas, a bunch of guys in on that one, led by Doug Boss. Unfortunately, on this drive, we had a roughing the punter penalty that allowed USC to keep the drive moving, and we were able to stop them before they got to the end zone, and they settle for this field goal made by their kicker to make it 17-3. And Floyd Grimes with an incredible individual effort there. He broke off that tackle, then sprinted for his life to the end zone, and he was able to sneak that one over the line to make it 24-3 Piranhas. And over the middle, it's going to be a nice interception there by Max Littlejohn. Did a little leap and got that catch, and we are going to take over, trying to put up some points before the end of the half. And that's going to be an interception right back to USC as we try to go over the middle, and they are going to prevent us from putting any points on the board.
On 1st and 10, they'll look to throw it. Looking for a man deep on the right side.
And we're going to reach up high for that interception. Darren Lampman bringing it down on a Hail Mary attempt, and that's how the first half ends.
Looking to throw again.
And here's a sack as Eli Newcomb couldn't find someone in time. It's going to be Jamichael Wilkes on the RPO flat play as the Piranhas finish off this drive nicely to make it 31-3.
Looking to throw it on 1st down.
And that's going to be intercepted by USC. We tried that orbit motion play, and he is running down the numbers for a pick 6 here. Just for Eli, got to throw that in the middle on one of the crossing routes there. Just got to ignore that route there for Randy because that was covered, but unfortunately it's going to be 31-10.
On 1st and 10 here, looking to throw the ball.
And now it's going to be a sack here by USC as they get 3 guys on Eli Newcomb. And we're going to get a sack here. It was a big blitz from the Piranhas, and Kevin Jones is going to clean it up.
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw it. Lets it fly out of the wideout.
And USC's guy is going to make that contested catch and then sprint away from them into the end zone, and USC has pulled within 2 scores now. Just a great effort by him.
They're going to run it here.
And Max Meeks with a nice stiff arm there, and he's going to fight his way into the end zone, and we are going to reestablish our 3-score lead. Nice physical running from Max Meeks, and it's going to be 38-17. And that's going to be a touchdown for USC with just under a minute left. Darren Lampman was offside, so that's going to count for USC to make it 38-24. USC attempting to stay alive with this one, and the onside kick is not going to go their way, so we should be able to take care of business from here. And Max Meeks going down the numbers, and nobody is going to catch Max Meeks, and that is a very nice way to end this one and shut the door on USC, as we're going to have it at 45-24. Max Meeks in there because Randy McNeil was dealing with a little wear and tear, and Max making the most of it with 2 touchdowns.
Quarterback drops back from the shotgun, looking for a receiver.
And here's a sack on for our guys there, and the clock is going to roll. After the defense gets the stop, our offense can come out and kneel this one with Eli Newcomb, and we'll do just that. And we'll walk out of here with a big 45-24 victory over USC. Some things that we could really clean up, some mistakes out there that allowed USC to make it somewhat of a game near the end there, but we made enough plays to really just separate from them. USC had 366 yards and we had 472. On the ground, they only had 7 and we had 129 and 2 touchdowns. Then for the passing game, it was pretty close for both teams. They had 359 and we had 343. For third down, they were 3 for 13 and we were 7 for 10. And on the turnovers, we ended up forcing more on them as they had 3 and we had 2. Eli Newcomb a little bit up and down in this one as he had 343 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks, including a pick 6. And then he was sacked twice. Max Meeks stepped up when we needed him to, and he had 8 carries, 63 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Randy McNeil had 9 for 63. Jamichael Wilkes with a nice game today with 7 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown. And Tobias Hayden had 11 for 92, and Floyd Grimes 8 for 90 and 2 touchdowns. Paul Whiting was our leading tackler with 11 and 2 for a loss, and Daryl Morris got 10. Then for sacks, we had 2.5 from Alfonso Wells, 1.5 from Kevin Jones, 1 from Greg DeMulling, and half a sack for Doug Boss. Then for interceptions, there was 1 from Max Littlejohn and 1 from Darren Lampman. And then on the forced fumble, we forced it with Alfonso Wells, and that was recovered by Kevin Jones, and he returned it 47 yards for a touchdown. Joaquin Orlando asked to kick 1 field goal today, and he nailed it, and it was a long one at 57. Center Alani Cutting liked what he saw on the visit week, and he committed to us. There's a new leader for the Heisman Trophy, but it's none of our guys, as it's Louisville wide receiver Bruce Toner, and USC's quarterback Dante Rashid dropped down after that performance, and Randy McNeil is still holding on. A little non-conference action as we travel out to Arizona to take on the Wildcats with their 72 overall and 6-4 record. We're separating at the end, and that is going to be an incredible catch by Jamichael Wilkes. He had that separation. The pass was just slightly underthrown as it was a deep ball, but Jamichael was able to adjust and catch it on their head, and it's going to be 7-0 for the Piranhas. And he's going to get taken down here. Greg DeMulling just pushing his way back there along with Alfonso Wells. And to the outside, it's going to be Carter Burns, and he gets hit right at the line, but he manages to get it across, and the Piranhas are going to go up 14-0. And Greg DeMulling is going to get in on another sack today, and that's going to get him off the field. And that is a deep ball that's going to be intercepted by Arizona. So we had 1 successful deep ball, but that one did not go as well, and Arizona is going to take over. And we're going to push him back in for a sack. It's going to be Kevin Jones using some physicality there. And their quarterback is going to be able to sneak this one in, and Arizona is going to get on the board after that end zone interception to make it 14-7. And Eli Newcomb will not get away. We only had 1 yard to get, but apparently nobody was open enough for Eli to feel comfortable on pulling the trigger. And Kevin Jones right up the middle with a sack, and it's going to be recovered in the end zone by Arizona, and that's going to be a safety for the Piranhas. What a great job by Kevin in the pass rush and for us getting that safety. And Willie Ekior has separated on the slant, and then he took it the other direction where he found the opening, and Willie Ekior is going to make this one 23-7. Alfonso Wells has gotten free from his blocker, and he's got the sack. And Randy McNeil racing to the end zone, and Randy McNeil is in there on the receiving touchdown, that angle route that we love to use with him, and it's going to be 30-7.
Gonna swing it on second down. Unloads to the right.
And it's going to be deflected into an interception. Paul Whiting is going to run down the numbers, and Paul Whiting has the pick six. What a play by Daryl Morris to get that deflection, and Paul Whiting being in the right place, and that's going to be a 37-7 lead for the Piranhas.
Use the play fake now to throw.
And getting free for another sack here, it's going to be Doug Boss, and that's going to be 6 first-half sacks for the Piranhas.
Staring at a fifth if they can't move the chains. Blasted as he
And hit as he's throwing, and it's going to be another interception for the Piranhas. Daryl Morris, he had the deflection on the last pick, and this time he has one of his own, and it's a pick six again for this defense. 2 straight possessions with pick sixes, and it's going to be 44-7.
just keeps swinging it.
And yet another sack for the Piranhas, as we're going to get in there with Eric Filani coming in for Greg DeMulling, who got a little banged up.
From the gun, wants to pass.
And that's going to be undercut by Arizona, trying to do a short route there. And Jermichael Wilkes is going to tackle him, and that's going to be another interception for Eli.
Second half, almost a no-brainer to go for it on fourth down.
And Arizona is going to get around our defense and into the end zone, so they're able to take advantage of that pick.
He's got a chance to take this one back.
I accidentally pressed stop recording, and it ended up being that we got a block kick on the PAT, so it's going to be 44-13. Joaquin Orlando out here for a short field goal attempt, and Joaquin is going to put this one up, and he's got the angle right, and it's going to be 47-13 for the Piranhas.
Off play action.
And coming through finally, it's going to be Doug Boss on that pressure and the sack.
On third and long, hoping to throw
And a little LB cross blitz, and that's going to work out for us as Max Littlejohn gets in for the sack.
right back to the well.
And Randy McNeil is going to separate here, and Randy McNeil is in the end zone again. A lot of commotion around there with the blocks and him getting stuck up a little bit, but he used his vision to find the crease, and he's going to make it 54-13. The backups were not done putting on a show here as we get the 68-13 victory over Arizona. Just some dominance here for the Piranhas, especially on that defensive side of the ball, just getting turnovers and getting touchdowns out of that defense, and the pass rush was ferocious, so definitely a great job by them, and the offense doing their thing as well. In this one, the Piranhas had 502 yards to Arizona's 171, and we got 174 yards on the ground with a touchdown, and they had negative 53 and a touchdown. Then for passing, we had 328 and they had 224. On third down, we were 3 for 8, they were 3 for 15. And for turnovers, we had 2 and we forced 3. Eli Newcomb with 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 unfortunate picks, and he was also sacked once. Alex Keener with 39 yards and a touchdown. Randy McNeil had 14 carries for 116 yards and a touchdown, while Eli Newcomb had 4 for 41. Jermichael Wilkes had 4 catches for 106 yards and a touchdown, while Tobias Hayden had 8 for 83, and Willie Ekior had a 43-yard touchdown catch, and Randy McNeil added 3 catches for 42 yards and a score, and we also got Carter Burns down here getting a 6-yard touchdown catch, and we got Kenya Kiki with a 5-yard touchdown catch. Heath Byard and Suatupa both got 7 tackles to lead us, and then in the sack department we got a lot here with 2.5 from Kevin Jones, 2 for Alfonso Wells, 1.5 for Greg DeMulling and Doug Boss, 1 each for Max Littlejohn and Eric Filani, then half a sack for Kamani Wiley, Dalvin Taber, and Mitchell Curl. And for interceptions, really remarkable here. All 3 of these were returned for pick sixes. You got 87-yarder from Kamani Wiley, a 32-yarder from Paul Whiting, and 34 for Daryl Morris. And then we also had a forced fumble from our guy Kevin Jones, but we did not recover that. It was a simple day for Joaquin Orlando as he hit his only field goal, which was a 25-yarder. Among all the candidates we had for the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, it was given to Daryl Morris. Bruce Toner has stayed in first place for the Heisman Trophy, but Randy McNeil's now on his tail in second place. For our final regular season game, we're going to be traveling to Michigan State with their 85 overall and 4-7 record, and the Piranhas are trying to make it 11 straight seasons where they haven't lost a regular season game. And Randy McNeil's first carry of the game is going to go for a touchdown here as he is running down the sideline and into the end zone. What a great start to the day for our Heisman Trophy candidate, as it's going to be 7-0 Piranhas. And a sack immediately by Brian Stitzer. That guy didn't even get a hand on him. And Eli Newcomb is going to keep it himself, and there's a wide open lane for him to get into the end zone, and it's going to be 14-0. Michigan State's gotten it to our 4-yard line, but could not punch it in, so their kicker is going to come out and put this one through, and it's going to be 14-3 for the Piranhas. And it is going to be Willie Ekior on the outside, and Michigan State is just not going to be able to catch him. Willie Ekior with a big play here, and it's going to be 21-3 Piranhas. Greg DeMulling comes in from behind to get his hands on him for the sack, and Doug Boss comes in to help clean it up. After the sack, it's going to be a 40-yard field goal attempt here for the Michigan State Spartans, and their guy is going to put it up. And it is good to make it 21-6. And to the outside, it's going to be to Max Meeks, who leaked out of the backfield, and that's going to be another touchdown for the Piranhas. Nice job by Eli hanging in there as he was getting hit, and it's going to be 28-6 for the Piranhas. And we're going to undercut that one. Great coverage by Jamie Salcedo, and we're going to have it on their side of the 50. After the interception, the offense was able to move it in very easy field goal territory for Joaquin Orlando, and Joaquin is going to cash it in and make it 31-6. And there's going to be a fumble here on the kick return, and that is going to be returned for a touchdown by Sua Tupa. What a play. The special teams cashing in on a touchdown, and it's 38-6, and the clocks are at zeros in this first half. And Eli Newcomb is going to go down here on a 3-yard loss for the sack. Eli Newcomb throwing up a deep ball, and it is perfectly thrown into the hands of Floyd Grimes. What an explosive play here by the Piranhas. Eli Newcomb just dealing out there, and Floyd Grimes, all he had to do was run as fast as he could and run under that ball, and it's going to be 45-6 Piranhas. And a nice RPO play there. They had a fade on that one, and that allowed them to separate, and that's going to make it 45-13.
They're looking to pass from the red zone.
And Eli Newcomb trying to get away from the pressure, but the pressure got to him on that sack. The sack helps force a field goal attempt for us, and Joaquin Orlando is going to put that one through, and that's going to make it a 48-13 ball game. The Peteytown Piranhas end their regular season with a big 51-20 victory over Michigan State, and that's going to be 11 straight seasons without losing a regular season game. And if you're a numbers guy, that means we've won 132 straight regular season games, which I think is remarkable. We ended up with 485 yards to Michigan State's 365, and for the running game, we had 177 and 2 touchdowns, and they had 40. For passing, we had 308, and they got 325. For third down, we had 4 of 7, and they were 5 for 13. And for turnovers, we kept it clean, and we forced 3. Eli Newcomb was surgical in this game with 306 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and he was sacked twice. Randy McNeil didn't need a whole lot of carries to get some big numbers today, as he had 8 carries, 152 yards, and a touchdown. And Eli Newcomb had 5 for 14 and a touchdown. Floyd Grimes with a nice day today with 4 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown. Then Willie Ekior had 2 for 92 and a touchdown, and Max Meeks 4 for 21 and a touchdown. Defensively, we were led by Paul Whiting getting 12 tackles, and then in the sacks department, we got 1 each for Brian Stitzer and Kurt Stat, then half a sack for Doug Boss and Greg DeMulling. And for interceptions, we got 1 from Jamie Salcedo and another with Derek Sims with the backups. And then over here for forced fumbles, we got the 1 with Suatupa and 1 with Roland Sheed. And for fumble recoveries, it doesn't say here, but we know Suatupa scooped that up on the kick return and returned it for a touchdown. Joaquin Orlando continued his stellar season with 3 of 3 on field goals and a long of 39. In the Big Ten championship game, we're going to have to take on the Michigan Wolverines, the number 3 team in the country, and a team we've had to play in this position before. Heading into our Big Ten championship game against Michigan, we got our guy Randy McNeil at the top spot of the Heisman Trophy race, so we'll see what happens here. Here in the Big Ten championship, Michigan stands in our way with an 11-1 record and a 92 team overall, and the Peteytown Piranhas are trying to win their 10th straight Big Ten championship. And the leading contender for the Heisman Trophy, Randy McNeil, is in the end zone on a receiving touchdown on that angle route we love down here. And the Piranhas open the scoring to make it 7-0. And he's running backwards, and he is going to get taken down by Greg DeMulling and Doug Boss. And it's going to be a sack here for Michigan. Thought Eli might have had a chance to get away, but he could not. And a sack here. Alfonso Wells in on it, and Doug Boss, I believe, got there first. And Max Meeks is going to sneak his way into the end zone. Nice little cut up there to give himself the space. And we are going to go up 14-0. And it's going to be a sack here for the Piranhas. Kevin Jones chasing him down. And another sack here for the Piranhas. 3 guys in on that one. Doug Boss getting highlighted there. And that's going to force a punt. And Randy McNeil has broken through those tackles, and Randy McNeil is gone for his 2nd touchdown of the game. What a run by our guy, and it's going to be 21-0. After the Randy McNeil touchdown run, it's going to be a field goal attempt here for Michigan, and their guy is going to put them on the board to make it 21-3. And that is a super touchdown strike there from Eli Newcomb to Floyd Grimes. Just immediately read the coverage and fired to Floyd. And it's going to be 28-3 Piranhas. And Tobias Hayden is going to make that catch on the sideline, and then he's going to get into the end zone. Nice job by Tobias, and it's going to be 35-3 Piranhas. Joaquin Orlando is going to trot out here for a field goal attempt. That's straight through, and it's going to be up, and it is good, and it's going to be 38-3 Piranhas.
First play of the drive, looking to throw the football. And looking for a big play.
And Michigan's going to hit a deep one over the middle, and their guy is going to be gone, and that's going to be Michigan's first touchdown of the game to make it 35-10. And that's going to be intercepted by Michigan, and their guy tried to get around us for a pick 6, but we're able to bring him down before he can do so. Our defense was able to hold after that interception, and it's going to be a field goal attempt here for Michigan. And their guy is going to put it up, and it is good, and it's going to be 38-13. I think I said 35-10 earlier, but it was 38 that we had. But now it's going to be 38-13.
Offense looking to throw the ball.
And Doug Boss with an absolutely gorgeous spin move to get to the quarterback on the sack. Eli Newcomb taking this one, and he is going to punch his way into the end zone for the Piranhas, and we're going to go up 45-13. And a nice blitz by the Piranhas is going to get Kevin Jones free for a sack.
Under 200 yards passing, they've got a nice lead, and they are not
And trying to hit his man on the outside, but instead it's going to go into the hands of Darren Lampman on the interception. And Tobias Hayden is going to make a visit to the end zone here to make it 52-13. I'm kind of just leaving the starters out here because Michigan still has their guys out there, and I also want to give our guys a chance to celebrate with the trophy and everything, because when you sub in your backup, sometimes they get all the stuff at the end of the game. So I want to give our starters a chance to shine there, and also see if we can get some more stats for our guy Randy McNeil for the Heisman Trophy. Another interception for this defense, as it's going to be Max Littlejohn grabbing this one. We've had some classic battles in the past with Michigan, but this was not one of those, as we get the blowout 52-13 victory here in the Big Ten Championship, our 10th straight Big Ten Championship in program history. And very proud of the Piranhas for how they conducted themselves in this game, just really taking it to Michigan, never really giving them any hope in this one, and just so proud of our defense for doing their thing in the pass rush, and Eli Newcomb throwing it around the yard and had that one interception, but we'll forgive him for that. And we're also going to see when we celebrate with this Big Ten Championship trophy, and we're going to do it once again. And that is a scary sight by Tobias Hayden. The numbers tell the tale of dominance here for the Piranhas, as we had 537 yards to Michigan's 203. They only had 12 yards on the ground, and we had 185 and 3 touchdowns. For passing, they had 191 and we had 352. On third down, they were 1 for 11 and we were 8 for 12. And for the turnovers, they had 2 and we had 1. Eli Newcomb put up 352 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he was sacked twice. Randy McNeil made a great case to be the Heisman Trophy winner with this performance, as he had 10 carries, 135 yards, and a touchdown. Then Eli Newcomb had 6 for 29 and a touchdown, and Max Meeks 4 for 22 and a touchdown. Floyd Grimes was our leading receiver with 9 catches, 112 yards, and 1 touchdown. Tobias Hayden 7 for 96 and 2 touchdowns. Max Meeks 2 for 65. Randy McNeil 4 for 42 and a touchdown. Max Littlejohn had 9 tackles to lead us in this one and 2 for a loss. And then for sacks, we had 2.5 from Kevin Jones and Doug Boss, then 1 for Greg DeMulling and half a sack for Alfonso Wells. And for interceptions, we had Max Littlejohn getting 1 and Darren Lampman with the other. Joaquin Orlando hit his only field goal today, a 38-yarder. Randy McNeil, of course, was the offensive player of the game in the Big Ten Championship. I believe for the second time in the Dynasty, Petey Previtt has won the Bear Bryant Coach of the Year award. Randy McNeil is your Walter Camp Award winner. Randy McNeil also took home the Maxwell Award. For the 4th time in Peteytown Piranhas history, we have a Heisman Trophy winner, and his name is Randy McNeil. Congratulations to Randy on this accomplishment, and he's also the first non-tight end in our program's history to win this, so that's a nice little milestone as well. Paul Whiting transferred over to us, and he became the Chuck Bednarik Award winner. Paul is also recognized with the Bronco Nagurski Trophy. Eli Newcomb is the Davey O'Brien Award winner, so congratulations on that one for Eli. Of course, Randy McNeil is the Doak Walker Award winner. Just continuing the tradition here for the John Mackey Award, as Tobias Hayden has brought it home for the 2nd time. Daryl Morris is your Jim Thorpe Award winner. Paul Whiting also won the Dick Butkus Award. Just got to correct really quick, I said Petey Previtt won the Bear Bryant Coach of the Year award twice. He's done it twice already, so this is the 3rd time he's won the award, so nice job by Petey. I was also quite surprised that Joaquin Orlando did not win the Lou Grozo Award, as he was perfect on his kicks this year, but I guess he didn't have as many makes or attempts as the other guys, so that hurt him a little bit. After all those awards we won, Petey Previtt leveled up again, so I'm going to go into this CEO tree and I'm going to get this gasoline ability so we can start hot in top 5 rivalry, bowl, and championship games. And being that we're going to be in the playoff right now, I think this is a relevant ability to get. It's that wonderful time of year, early National Signing Day, so we can take a look at these dev traits in our recruits. Wide receiver Frank Kenoy is an elite dev, so love to see that. Wide receiver Sua Tautu is also elite, so very bright future at receiver. Defensive tackle Ty Daly is also elite, so great start. Right edge Ed Henderson is also elite, so receivers and D-line looking mighty fine. Then Mike linebacker Dom Moffitt is also elite. Right edge John Callaway, elite again, so just 6 for 6 on those. But that streak will come to an end here with star dev on Stanley Turner, the quarterback. Still like to see that on him. Right tackle Reed Cantwell is a star. Strong safety Denzel Brink is impact. Will linebacker Bruce Speed is elite, so we're back on track. Cornerback Bobby Goff is a star. And the tight end Stephen Fattencoon is also star. Right guard Damian Cummings is star. Halfback Bobby Grubb is star as well. Free safety LaShawn Fuchsia is star. Center Alani Cutting is normal, so the first normal guy. And punter Markel Komar is impact. Looking at the standings for the Heisman Trophy, of course our guy Randy McNeil won it. Then you got quarterback from Tulsa Manny Feeney. Then Eli Newcomb actually found his way onto the list, so nice to see that. Then you got Baylor's quarterback Terrence Awasika. And then finally Ole Miss's quarterback Dorian Ty. In the college football playoff, it's going to be number 5 Oklahoma versus number 12 San Diego State, number 8 Notre Dame, and number 9 Washington, number 6 Michigan versus number 11 Arizona State, and number 7 Baylor versus number 10 UCLA. And then for the top 4 seeds, it'll be us at number 1, Miami at number 2, Texas number 3, and USC number 4. So we're awaiting the winner of that Notre Dame-Washington game. Notre Dame was able to come out on top in their game, so they're going to be our opponent for the quarterfinal. In the first round, Oklahoma was able to overcome San Diego State. Then Notre Dame won a tight one over Washington to face us. Then you got another tight shootout with Michigan and Arizona State, and Michigan came out on top. Then UCLA took care of business against Baylor. So number 4 USC is going to take on number 5 Oklahoma, us and Notre Dame of course, Texas versus Michigan, and Miami versus UCLA. Us and Notre Dame will be traveling to Miami in the Orange Bowl for the quarterfinal matchup, and they come in with a 94 overall and that number 8 seed. And Eli Newcomb is going to go down here. Notre Dame looks like they brought a little extra pressure on that one and it got home. With the help of that sack, Joaquin Orlando is going to have to come out here for a field goal attempt to salvage this drive. And Joaquin is going to remain perfect on the year, and we're up 3-0. Notre Dame drove it deep into our territory but could not punch it in, and they're going to send their kicker out for the field goal attempt, and their man puts it through to tie this one up. Trading field goals now, as it's going to be another attempt for Joaquin Orlando, and he is going to put that one through to make it 6-3.
On 1st and 10, looking to throw.
And here's a sack from the Piranhas. Doug Boss and Greg DeMulling getting in on that one. Yet another field goal attempt, and this one's going to be a 58-yarder. And Notre Dame's guy is going to line it up and put this one up. And it is wide to the left, and that's going to keep us in the lead. And Tobias Hayden is going to get off of that defender and swerve around the other one and get into the end zone for the Peteytown Piranhas, and it's going to be 13-3.
Dropping back, they're going to throw for the first down. Looking for 6.
And that's going to be intercepted by Notre Dame. Eli Newcomb had all the time in the world to try to make a decision, try to make a play there, but Notre Dame was better on that one. And that's going to be another interception. Eli Newcomb was hit as he threw that one, and it was tipped, and their guy had the interception, and now they're going to take over near the 50-yard line. And we're going to get an interception right back. Max Littlejohn is going to do a little leap in the air to grab that one, and our defense is going to support our quarterback really nicely there. And Randy McNeil fights through the traffic over there, and Randy is going to get into the end zone. Our Heisman Trophy winner taking a visit to the end zone, and it's going to be thanks in large part to the bailout by the defense, and we're going to go up 20-3. And Randy is going to get in here. Wasn't sure he was going to push through, but Randy uses his strength to push through two guys. It was actually better that the second guy joined in because he kind of animated into that touchdown. And it's going to be 27-3 Piranhas. And it's going to be a sack. Doug Boss getting in there along with Rico Crozier. Our next drive is going to result in a field goal attempt for Joaquin Orlando, and Joaquin puts it up, and he remains perfect as it's 30-3. Randy McNeil around the edge is going to use the spin move and a stiff arm, and he tiptoes his way into the end zone. What a run by Randy, and it's going to be 37-3 Piranhas. And there's a fumble on the play, and it's going to be recovered by Jamie Salcedo. And Jamie is running down the numbers, and he is going to score the touchdown. I believe it was Greg DeMulling who forced that one out. Their quarterback just trying to get some extra yards, and that's going to cost them, as we're going to be up 44-3. And that's going to be an interception. He tried to float that curl route out there, and since it's such a long developing play, Darren Lampman had plenty of time to step in front of it for the pick, and it's going to be a pick six to make it 51-3. With a little last gasp effort, they're going to put up a field goal here, and it's going to be 51-6, so I hope they feel good about themselves. And I substituted Max Meeks in to give Randy McNeil a little rest towards the end of the game, and Max Meeks responds with a huge touchdown run. So nice job there by Max, and it's going to be 58-6. The Peteytown Piranhas are going to get out of here with a 58-6 victory. The game was really tight at the beginning, but the wheels just came off as the game went on for Notre Dame, and we were the definition of play until the final whistle as we just kept pouring it on there. It was a tale of two halves in this one, as the first half was 13-3, and the second half was 45-3 in favor of the Piranhas, including a 38-3 fourth quarter, which is kind of mind-boggling. Then looking at the rest of the numbers, you got 513 yards for us and 243 for Notre Dame. On the ground, they had 31 yards, and we had 221 and 4 touchdowns. Then for passing, they had 212, we had 292. They were 5 of 16 on third down, and we were 3 for 9. And for turnovers, they had 3, and we had 2. Eli Newcomb was not at his best in this game, as he had 292 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks, and he was sacked once. But we always love when our team is able to pick up our quarterbacks when they have some struggles. The Heisman Trophy winner showed everybody why he was decorated with that award, with 21 carries, 120 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Then Max Meeks had 2 for 84 and a touchdown. Tobias Hayden with 6 catches, 121 yards, and 1 touchdown. Then Floyd Grimes with 7 for 71, and Jamichael Wilkes 2 for 42, Willie Ekiyor 4 for 42. Another award winner on this team was Paul Whiting, and he led us in tackles with 13 and 4 for a loss. Then for sacks, we had 1 from Doug Boss and half a sack each for Greg DeMulling and Rico Crozier. Then for interceptions, we got 1 from Max Littlejohn, then a pick 6 from Darren Lampman for 27 yards. And then over on the forced fumbles, we had 1 from Greg DeMulling, and that was picked up by Jamie Salcedo, and he returned it 47 yards for a touchdown. Joaquin Orlando just keeps on doing his job with 3 for 3 on field goals and a long of 54. Darren Lampman was the Defensive Player of the Week for the quarterfinal round. Familiar foe USC will be our opponent for this semifinal game, and it'll be a rematch from earlier this year. In the quarterfinal, USC won a close one over Oklahoma, and then Michigan beat Texas by 2 scores, and UCLA was able to top 2-seed Miami in a close game, so that's going to set up us and USC, and on the other side of the bracket for the semifinal, it'll be Michigan and UCLA. We're not going to be far from where USC's campus is, as we're going to be going to the Rose Bowl, and they have their 99 overall. And of course, this team is just trying to figure out a way to beat us, and it's been a struggle for them in the past, and we're just going to try to keep that going. And Tobias Hayden is going to get this one, and he has the space to get into the end zone for the Piranhas, and that's going to open up the scoring in this semifinal game, 7-0. And it's going to be an RPO glance post play, and that's going to be fired into the arms of Jamichael Wilkes, who's got the touchdown to make it 14-0.
First play of the drive, they'll come out throwing.
And Kevin Jones is going to chase him down for the sack there on a 7-yard loss. At the 1-yard line, Petey Previtt decides to just take the points here with Joaquin Orlando inside of a minute left to go in this first half. And Joaquin is going to knock it down, and it's going to be 17-0 Piranhas.
Looking to pick up the first down through the air.
And Kevin Jones is going to run him down again for another sack in this ball game. We work it into their red zone, but cannot put it in the end zone. And Joaquin Orlando is going to come on again for a field goal, and he puts it through, and it's going to be 20-0. Another drive that stalls out for the Piranhas, and we're asking Joaquin Orlando to salvage the drive, and he is going to put that in, and it's going to be 23-0.
Looking to pick up the first down through the air.
Into the end zone, and USC is finally on the board here in the fourth quarter, as it's going to be 23-7. Little bubble screen out there, and it's going to be the guy Tyler Robbins who's in there for the injured Scott Graves, and it's going to be 30-7 Peteytown Piranhas.
Quarterback looking to throw it on second down.
And Kevin Jones in there for a sack again as the 2-minute warning hits.
Drops back, needing a third down completion here.
And he tried to dump it off to his man, but instead it's going to go into the arms of Brian Stitzer. What a fluky little play there. We got the pressure in to hit him, and it affected that throw. And just when things rain, it pours. And I'm just making up expressions now. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just so surprised by how that play developed. USC has no timeouts remaining, and we have time to put a knee on this one with Eli Newcomb. So that interception is going to be the exclamation point in this 30-7 victory for the Peteytown Piranhas over USC. And holding this offense to just 7 points is a feat unto itself, but very happy that we're going to be advancing to the national championship once again. We had ourselves 459 yards on offense, while USC had 205. Then for running, they had 21 yards, and we had 159. For the passing game, they had 184, and we had exactly 300. On third down, they were 5 for 12, and we were 11 for 15. And for turnovers, it was a relatively clean game, only one turnover by USC. Eli Newcomb with a great job in this one, as he had 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was not sacked. Randy McNeil did not get into the end zone, but he was an engine today for us, as he usually is, with 15 carries and 138 yards. Tobias Hayden had 9 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown, while Floyd Grimes had 8 for 77. Jamichael Wilkes had 9 for 56 and a touchdown. And then in a funny little stat line, our guy Tyler Robbins had 2 for -1 and 1 touchdown. Max Littlejohn led us with 9 tackles, and he also had 1 for a loss. Then for sacks, we were led by Kevin Jones with 2.5, and half a sack for Alfonso Wells, and then a funny interception from Brian Stitzer. Joaquin Orlando was solid as usual, as he was 3 for 3 with a long of 37. Tobias Hayden was the semifinal round's player of the week. The national championship will be against the Michigan Wolverines in a rematch from the Big Ten championship game. Taking a look at how Michigan got here, they won a nail-biter against UCLA 21-20. After that playoff victory over USC, Petey Previtt leveled up to level 99, so he's 1 away from being maxed out at level 100. And with this latest update, we're going to go to the CEO tree one more time and get this Last Dance ability. Michigan is trying to get some revenge for that Big Ten championship game, while we're looking to make a 4-peat of national championships and to win our 12th overall.
We're in this 12-team playoff format, and in the national
And on the first play from scrimmage, it's going to be a sack for Michigan as they take down Eli Newcomb. We overcome the sack on the first play of this drive to get it into field goal range for Joaquin Orlando. Joaquin is going to put this one up, and he is going to put that one through and remains perfect on the season as we're going to go up 3-0. After our field goal attempt, it's Michigan's turn for a field goal attempt of their own, and they're going to send this one up, and it is good to tie it up. And here's a sack by the Piranhas. Alfonso Wells and Greg DeMulling coming off the edges to combine for that one. The field goal battle continues as Joaquin Orlando comes on here again for one. And he's going to put up the 48-yarder. And it is between that upright, and it's going to be 6-3. And the blitz by Paul Whiting is going to work out. It was a little bit delayed, but he picked his moment correctly and got the sack. And that one is overthrown and intercepted by Sua Tupa, who was playing center field back there, and he's going to bring it back to their 43-yard line. Jamichael Wilkes is wide open there on the RPO flat play, and Jamichael is in for the first touchdown of the day, and that's going to make it 13-3 with a special shout-out to Sua Tupa on the interception. Greg DeMulling coming in for the sack. He's going to force the fumble, but Michigan's going to somehow recover that one. But great job by Greg on the pressure. And it was pressured again by Greg DeMulling, and the ball was bouncing around, and it landed into the hands of Kevin Jones on the interception, and we're going to be set up beautifully at their 14-yard line. And to the corner of the end zone, it's going to be Tobias Hayden making the jump ball catch, and that was insane from Tobias Hayden. He used that platinum 50-50 ability, and it's going to be a touchdown for the Piranhas. What a play by Tobias to make it 20-3. Just look at this replay from Tobias, just skying for that, flipping over the guy, and just held on to that ball. Unbelievable. And a sack here by Kevin Jones, and he forces it loose, but Michigan recovers it again. Unfortunate we couldn't recover that one, as it's going to allow Michigan to attempt a field goal here. We try to block it, but can't, and it's going to be good to make the game 20-6. Andy McNeil is going to find the cutback lane and get the block downfield, and the Heisman Trophy winner has found the end zone here in the national championship, and it's going to be 27-6. And that's going to be intercepted by Jamie Salcedo. Some excellent pressure there by Greg DeMulling to force that ball to be errant, and Jamie is going to take advantage of it and keep Michigan off the board on this drive. Greg DeMulling is going to finish off this sack here on a nice job by him. And just trying to force one downfield, and it's going to be intercepted by the Piranhas. That's going to be Miles Meadows taking that one away. And Randy McNeil is going to run through some Wolverines and get his second touchdown of the day. And the Peteytown Piranhas will take a 34-6 lead with just under 2 minutes left here in the national championship. And the final seconds have ticked off here in the national championship game. The Peteytown Piranhas are your national champions once again. They have completed the four-peat, and that will be the 12th title in program history. The final score is 34-6, as it pops up right there. Nice little timing there. And Michigan is just left wondering what could have been this season, and what could have been was that they didn't face us, but they did face us, and we took them down twice this year as we hand over that national championship trophy to Petey Previtt, who lifts it aloft for everybody to see, and just very proud of this group. This national championship ended up being very close in yardage, as we had 299 and they had 292. For the run game, they had -5 and we had 80 and 2 touchdowns. Then in the passing game, they had 297 and we had 219. For third down, they were 7 for 14. We were 5 for 10. But the biggest difference in this one was that we didn't turn the ball over, and Michigan had 4 turnovers. Eli Newcomb just doing what he needs to do out there and get the ball to our playmakers. He had 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and he was sacked once. Randy McNeil caps off his wonderful career with 12 carries, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jamichael Wilkes is also capping off his career in this one with a nice performance with 6 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. And Tobias Hayden had 8 for 57 and just a sensational catch in the end zone. And he has a gold 50-50. It lit up as platinum during the game, but I think it might have just upgraded during the game, so that's why that was happening. And then Willie Ekior had 6 catches for 43 yards. Paul Whiting led us with 9 tackles today and 1 for a loss, and he also got a sack. And with our other sacks, we got 2.5 from Greg DeMolling, 1 from Kevin Jones, and half a sack from Alfonso Wells. And really got to shout out Greg for his performance today because he was causing havoc back there, bringing the quarterback down, and also hitting their quarterback and causing some turnovers for us. And speaking of those turnovers, we had 4 picks, and 1 was Kevin Jones on that crazy play, Miles Meadows with 1, Jamie Salcedo, and then Sua Tupa with a real game-changing one because it was really tight at the beginning of the game, but once he got that one, we were able to play free and loose, and I think that really jump-started the team. And then for forced fumbles, we had 1 from Kevin Jones and 1 from Greg DeMolling, but we did not recover either. Joaquin Orlando finished off a perfect season as he went 2 for 2 today, and he had a long of 49. Of all the players it could have been for us, Kevin Jones was the one selected as the defensive player of the game in the national championship. Randy McNeil was the offensive player of the game in the national championship. For our season stats, you got Eli Newcomb with 4,524 yards, 56 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. Then we go over to rushing. Randy McNeil had 211 carries, 1,790 yards, and 18 touchdowns. Then Eli Newcomb added 103 carries, 424 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Then over in our receiving game, Tobias Hayden led us here, 109 catches, 1,287 yards, and 17 touchdowns. Behind him, Jamichael Wilkes, 73 catches, 1,014 yards, and 15 touchdowns. And Floyd Grimes, 73 catches, 888 yards, 9 touchdowns for him. Then for Randy McNeil, 38 catches, 525 yards, and 5 touchdowns, giving him 23 TDs and over 2,000 total yards. And then over on defense, we were led by Paul Whiting with a very nice 150 tackles, and you got Max Littlejohn with 125, and Daryl Morris with 106. And then for TFLs, we had 33 with Kevin Jones, 28 for Paul Whiting and Alfonso Wells, 27 for Greg DeMolling, and 23 for Doug Boss. In the sacks realm, we got 19 from Kevin Jones, 12 from Alfonso Wells, 11.5 from Doug Boss, and 10.5 for Greg DeMolling. Then for interceptions, we were led by Max Littlejohn with 6, as well as Darren Lampman. Then 4 from Jamie Salcedo, 3 each for Miles Meadows, Daryl Morris, and Rocky Long. Then 2 interceptions for Paul Whiting, Derek Sims, and Sua Tupa. Then 1 each for Kevin Jones, Greg DeMolling, Brian Stitzer, and Kamani Wiley. And then we move over to defensive touchdowns, 2 from Miles Meadows, 1 each for Max Littlejohn, Darren Lampman, Jamie Salcedo, Daryl Morris, Paul Whiting, Kevin Jones, and Kamani Wiley. And then for pass deflections, 14 for Paul, 11 for Darren, 10 for Miles, and 10 for Daryl. And then we got our forced fumbles, 4 for Kevin Jones, 2 for Greg, and 1 each for Paul, Daryl, Jamie, Sua, and Alfonso Wells, as well as Roland Sheed. Then for fumble recoveries, 1 each for Kevin, Max, and Jamie. And then we got field goal blocks. We got 1 with Kamani Wiley. And then we did not get a safety. No, we did get a safety. Doug Boss got it for us. As was mentioned previously, our guy Joaquin Orlando was perfect on his field goals this year with 24 of 24 and a long of 63. We're going to switch over to career stats now, starting with Randy McNeil. He leaves us with 648 carries, 4,610 yards, and 43 touchdowns, and that's going to be among our leaders, if not our leader in these categories. Can't really tell because when we subbed in the Peteytown Piranhas, we took over Rutgers, and he's still behind what Ray Rice did, so Randy doesn't show up in the career stats and things like that, but I would have to go back. I'm not exactly sure where his numbers stack up, but I definitely got to be up there, but with that Heisman Trophy, that's just something nobody else has ever done, so really got to tip our cap to Randy for his career here. We also have to say goodbye to Tobias Hayden with 232 catches, 2,648 yards, and 30 touchdowns. Jamichael Wilkes had 188 catches, 2,372 yards, and 30 touchdowns. And Randy McNeil added 119 catches, 1,433 yards, and 16 touchdowns. Kevin Jones leaves us with 71 tackles for a loss for his career and 42 career sacks, just a remarkable career from him. And then for interceptions, guys, we got Darren Lampman leaving us with 7 career interceptions, and Rocky Long the same with 7. Joaquin Orlando was as solid as they come, as he made 92 career kicks on 101 attempts for a 91% and a long of 63. Petey Previtt has finally reached the max level at level 100, so we're going to use the last remaining 12 skill points he has here in Master Motivator. We're going to go to the quarterback, and we're going to go to Tier 4 with the Icy Veins, just trying to give our quarterbacks a composure boost to start games. Now we look at the players leaving stage here and got some notable names here with Jamie Salcedo at cornerback, so we're going to see if we can get him. And then you got edge Rico Crozier, then Kenya Kiki at halfback, Vernon Moncrief at quarterback, Alex Pinheiro, another cornerback, and JP Bridges, an edge player. So we'll see what we can do here, starting with Jamie. We are going to try to persuade, and he has decided to stay, actually, thank God, because he's a huge part of what we're trying to do next year, so that's very big for us. Then we got Rico Crozier, and he has also decided to stay. We love to see that. He was worried about playing time, so we'll see what happens there. Then you got Kenya Kiki also for playing time, and he will not come back. I'll come back to him in a second with that ability we have, but want to see about Vernon Moncrief. He has also failed. Alex Pinheiro for playing time. He has also failed. And for JP Bridges at edge, he has decided to stay. So now we got some these 3 guys where we can try again. So trying again with Kenya Kiki. We are not going to get him, so not really surprised there. Vernon Moncrief at quarterback has also decided to leave, and Alex Pinheiro one more time, and he will not be persuaded. So I think 3 out of the 7's not bad. So or 3 out of the 6. 3 out of 7. I don't know what I'm counting. Okay. So these are the guys that are staying. We got Jamie, we got Rico back, and we got JP Bridges. So we'll see how we do with the player progression, but we'll miss these 3 guys that are deciding to leave. After going through and adding some extra skill points on these seniors that are leaving us, we can now just give them their flowers here. Alex John, just simply one of the best offensive linemen we've ever had. He will be missed. Then, of course, the legend Randy McNeil getting that Heisman Trophy in his senior season and just being an all-around accomplished running back for us. We will miss him very, very much. Then you got Paul Whiting, who came in as a transfer and was a real force in the middle for us. And you got Rocky Long, dependable in the back end at safety. Darren Lampman, a cornerback who got his chance to shine, and he got a bunch of interceptions this year. Kari Gentile, another very quality offensive lineman. Broderick Bobo and Tevin Brom, those 2 centers that were able to split duties at center and guard this year respectively, and just really formed an offensive line that helped Randy along very well. And you got Kevin Jones, a leader on the defensive line, and he really made an impact throughout his career, so he will be missed. Then you got Tobias Hayden, the 2-time John Mackey Award winner, just continuing that legacy of great tight end play. Jamichael Wilkes really waiting his time, and when he got a chance to shine, he rewarded us with a 1,000-yard season. And Roland Sheed maybe got the short end of the stick on some things, but dependable guy when we were asked to put him out there. Then you got Willie Ekiyor leaving. Didn't get a lot of chance as well, but when he was out there, he was making reliable catches and a lot of plays that weren't seen that really helped us. And then looking at the rest of these guys, you got Carter Burns. He had to step in when Tobias was hurt last year and did a very admirable job. And then you got some other guys that we will miss very much, like Joaquin Orlando. Like I said during his stats thing, very reliable and just continuing a legacy of pretty good kickers that we've had. Wish we could have had a Lou Groza Award for him, but it wasn't to be, I guess, but it is what it is. Overall, this senior class was one of those special classes that got us 4 national championships, so that will be a very enduring legacy for all of them and just a very talented group of individuals. The NFL welcomed 12 Peteytown Piranhas in the draft, and 4 of them were first-round picks with Randy McNeil, Alex John, Paul Whiting, and Rocky Long. Then for round 2, you got Broderick Bobo, Kevin Jones, and Darren Lampman. In round 3 was Tevin Brom and Kari Gentile. In the 4th round was Jamichael Wilkes and Tobias Hayden, and in round 7 was Roland Sheed. As has been the case for the last few years, we're not looking for a whole lot in the transfer portal, but one position we definitely need to fill is center, because we only have one right now with Alani Cutting on the roster, so we got to find one here, and we have Sergio Kimball. He's got just really good blocking across the board as a well-rounded guy, everything above an 80 overall, and he's also got gold pocket shield, so I think that would be a really good get for us. And then we also got this guy, Landon McQueen. He would come in as a junior, so he would be behind Sergio and be able to step up when he's gone. But for Landon, just incredible blocking all across the board, and he's got a whole bunch of abilities as well, so really would like to get both of these guys, or at least one of them. Then we got Jose Homer at cornerback, just need to fill out some things. Got a bunch of guys at the top who are really talented, but just need to fill in below them, and he comes in as a young guy. He would be a sophomore, so time to develop him and everything. He already has 95 speed and 97 acceleration. He's got that 80 zone coverage, so really good athletic guy that we could develop into something, I think. After advancing a week for the transfer portal, Sergio Kimball is in 3rd place, and I put him on that week 3 visit, but then I saw that Landon McQueen is in 1st place, and I think at the end of the day, we're going to put all our eggs in Landon McQueen, and we're going to let Sergio Kimball find somewhere else to go. And then we got Jose Homer. He's in 3rd place right now, but we got him on a double soft sell and a week 4 visit. For Landon McQueen, he's in his top 5, and NC State's really the only other school challenging for him, and we got him on the week 4 visit, and we also got his hard sell working. And then for Jose Homer, we also got his hard sell now after the double soft sell, but he's in his top 3, and Penn State's really close to getting him, so maybe should have done the visit on week 3, but it is what it is. We'll see if that hard sell can push a recruiting battle. In the final week, things are looking good for Landon McQueen, but Jose Homer decided to go to Penn State, so we got Tayshawn Whipple here to see if we can get a last-minute signing. He's got 95 speed and 92 acceleration, so something we can work with there, and he would only be a sophomore. Landon McQueen is going to join us and filling a big need there at center. And we're also going to get Tayshawn Whipple at cornerback to help out with the depth. With the transfer portal over, we can see the dev traits of the guys we got, and Landon McQueen is an elite dev, so that's huge for us after Alani ended up being a normal dev. And then for Tayshawn Whipple, he's a star dev, so that's very nice for our future after we have these very talented guys we already have at cornerback leave. Tayshawn will be able to help step up and make a difference. I am extremely excited for this recruiting class, as we ended up getting 8 elite devs and 8 star dev players, and we got a couple of impacts and 1 normal. Just absolutely fantastic, and our future is looking extremely bright, as it usually does, but this recruiting class in particular, just absolutely love the talent that we got. For the 2nd straight year, the Peteytown Piranhas have brought in the #1 recruiting class with 19 guys. 8 of them were 5 stars and 9 4 stars and 2 3 stars. Coming off his Jim Thorpe Award-winning season, Daryl Morris has upgraded to a star dev. Something that I've forgotten to mention in past off seasons is that Dowell Loggins has gone further down this architect tree. He's now got it maxed out for quarterbacks, running backs, and receivers, and he's also gotten it to limitless on the O-line and also for defensive line, so that's really helping us progress different guys in unique ways. Our guy Eli Newcomb is now a 95 overall, 96 with tactician boosts. And for him, we got his accuracy way up. He's got 90 plus and everything here. And then for his IQ, he's got 81 awareness and 81 play action. And then for his abilities, he's got that gold dot and silver mobile resistance. Halfback Max Meeks is going to have his time to shine now, as he's a 97 overall and 99 with tactician boosts. and his quickness has been maxed out for a while. His elusiveness just got maxed out this offseason, and we worked on his hands in the past and got it to a fairly good place. And then his route running also went up a little bit. And this offseason, we really went into his IQ at 87 awareness and ball carrier vision. And for his abilities, he's got Platinum Shifty and Sidestep, as well as Silver 360. Wide receiver Floyd Grimes used 190 skill points to become a 99 overall player, and for him, he's maxed out his quickness, his hands, his route running, and he's reached his cap in elusiveness, and he's also maxed out in IQ, so just very smart, very athletic, just all-around fantastic player for us. And that Dowell Loggins architect tree helped us unlock his hands because it was a little bit capped, but it was broken, and then his route running was also capped, but that was broken as well. So with those things, we definitely got him to reach his really full potential. And then for his abilities, he's got Silver Sidestep, Platinum Double Dip and Takeoff, Bronze Recoup, and then he's got Platinum Shifty. Wide receiver Scott Graves is a 92 overall, 94 with Tactician Boost, and for him, the quickness was already maxed out. We got his hands to 91 catching and 99 spec catch, and we got his route running to a nice place with everything above a 93 here, and his elusiveness went up as well, and he's got that 99 agility. And then for his abilities, he had the Platinum 50-50. He now has Gold Balanced and Platinum Downhill as well. I'm really excited about tight end D'Angelo Lemur. He was that athlete wide receiver that we moved over to tight end because he had the big body, and I thought he could be a real mismatch here. And after Tobias Hayden is left, it's time for D'Angelo to take center stage at this position. And he's an 86 overall, 89 with Tactician Boost, and his route running is at 89 short and 85 medium, and his hands have been maxed out in a good spot here. His elusiveness has reached its cap, and his IQ went up a tiny bit as well as his power. And then for his abilities, he's got Platinum 50-50, Gold Cutter, he's got Silver Downhill and Silver Sure Hands. And the last thing that I saved the best for last is he's got that 93 speed and 91 acceleration, so very exciting times ahead for him. Guard Avery Gabriel is a 91 overall, 95 with Tactician Boost, and he has met his cap in run blocking, pass blocking, and power, and we got his IQ up to an 89. And for his abilities, he's got Gold Pocket Shield, Platinum Outside Shield, Silver Strong Grip, and then Platinum Option Shield and Inside Shield. Bit of a situation here with center Landon McQueen from the transfer portal. We love that he's a 91 overall, but that also means as a junior he will probably look towards the NFL draft next season. So I didn't add anything to his overall just in case there's any chance of him coming back. But for him, I didn't touch his ratings at all. I just went right over to his abilities and got him Bronze Pocket Shield and Platinum Outside Shield, Strong Grip Option Shield, and then I got him Gold Inside Shield. Offensive tackle Zach Skowronek is now a 94 true overall, and for him, he has a pass blocking that is maxed out completely. He also got his run blocking up a little bit and his IQ. Then for his abilities, he's got Platinum Pocket Shield and Quick Drop, along with Silver Play Action Shield and Wear Down. Moving over to defense, we got Edge Alfonso Wells at 95 overall, 96 with Tactician Boost. And for his ratings, he has reached his cap and finesse moves at 91, and his quickness got a little boost to 93 speed and 96 acceleration. Then he maxed out his run stopping and got his IQ up. And then for his abilities, he's got the Platinum Quick Jump that he had already, and he moved up to Platinum Takedown and Gold Pocket Disruptor. On the other edge, we have 90 overall Greg DeMulling, 92 with Tactician Boost, and for his ratings, we got his power moves to 91 and finesse moves to 91, and we got his run stopping up a little bit as well as his quickness. And for his abilities, he's got Gold Quick Jump, Gold Duress, Platinum Takedown, and Gold Pocket Disruptor. Max Littlejohn was moved over to Mike Linebacker, where he changed his archetype to a lurker, and he's now a 99 overall. And for his ratings, he's got IQ of 88 awareness and 90 play rec. His quickness was already at 99 speed and acceleration. His power went up a decent amount. His run stopping also went up, where everything's at least a 90 here. And his pass coverage is at 96 zone and 91 man. And for his abilities, he's got platinum knockout, house call, and robber. And he's also got gold wrap up. So really one of the better linebackers we've had going into a season, and really excited to see what he can do in his senior year. Lamar Gallimore is another talented linebacker at 95 overall, 99 with tactician boost. And for him, his quickness was at the 96 speed and 99 acceleration. His pass coverage is 90, and his run stopping is pretty good here. His IQ is at 81 awareness and play rec, and we also added some hit power to him. And for his abilities, he's got silver wrap up and aftershock and blow up, then gold hammer. I was thrilled and relieved that Jamie Salcedo decided to stay with us one more year, because I accidentally got him to an 88 and he was in danger of going to the NFL, but he decided to come back, and with that he had 200 skill points to use, and he's at 99 overall. And we got him there by maxing out his man coverage and zone coverage, and we also maxed out his quickness, so just a very athletic and very sticky cover guy. And we got his hands up a little bit. And then for his abilities, he's got gold blanket coverage, silver jammer, platinum house call, gold ball hawk, and platinum knockout. We have another 99 overall cornerback with Miles Meadows, and for him, his man coverage has been maxed out, his zone coverage reached its cap where there was just one left, and he had his quickness maxed out. We also got his hands up a little bit as well as his run stopping. And then for his abilities, he's got platinum robber, knockout, and blanket coverage, and he's got silver ball hawk. Heath Byer did not reach a 99 true overall, as he's at 97, but he is 99 with tactician boost. And for him, he got his man coverage to its cap and his zone coverage to 96, and in that he got his play rec to 94 and awareness to 95. His quickness was maxed out already at 99 at speed and acceleration, and then he also got his run stopping up a little bit. And for his abilities, he's got gold jammer, gold blanket coverage, and platinum quick jump. Free safety Caesar Stick is a 90 overall, 91 with tactician boost, and his awareness went up just a tick, and his pass coverage got a really big boost to 94 zone and 99 man, and his quickness went up to 97 speed and 98 acceleration. And for his abilities, he's got the platinum knockout. Jim Thorpe Award winner Daryl Morris rounds out our secondary at strong safety as a 92 overall, 93 with tactician boost, and for him his zone coverage has met its cap at 99 zone, then 86 awareness and 88 play rec, and we also got his man coverage up to a respectable level with 99 change of direction. His quickness was already at 95 speed and 94 acceleration. We boosted up his run support a little bit in his hands, and for his abilities he's got bronze ball hawk, then the gold house call, and robber. It was an incredibly special year for the Peteytown Piranhas as we celebrated 2 decades of Piranhas football, and what better way to celebrate year 20 than with another national championship. And we got the 4-peat going, and of course the regular season winning streak going, and all these different things to be excited about. And of course we got all those awards that we were able to win this year. Just incredible to add another Heisman Trophy to the list, and Randy McNeil should be very proud of that accomplishment. And we'll see if we can add any more as the years go by, but just a very, very special year this was, and I'm looking forward to another one next year with a very talented group of players, and hopefully we can just keep the good times rolling. I'll see you guys in the next video.